Hey guys, how you doing today? Clubby and I, well, I wouldn't say Clubby and I. Clubby, he found this great view for all of you. You'll see that tomorrow. Anyway, Clubby likes the view, so let's get Clubby settled in. You good, bud? Good. Kitty was kind enough to bring us here. I figure this is a great spot to have a conversation with you. Today I thought we would do something completely different than I usually do. Today I want to do a painting, you know, like I usually do. But this time we're going to do it live with you. You like that idea? I like that idea too. So let's start with, what are we going to paint on? I'm definitely not painting on my table. So let's go paint something. Let's go do something. Today's conversation is going to be about Canada's reaction to the new tariffs and everything. Oh. Try going too fast. God dang it. Oh, I forgot to put oil on it. Haha. Will you stop being a pain in the butt? Not the perfect piece of wood, but we'll treat this the same way Canada treats anything. Just like Canada. I want a painting. So let's do it Canada's way. And that's Canada's problem. Where's my painting? Gonna have to go buy one now. Maybe I'll buy an American painting. That sounds like a great idea. Yeah. In this live stream, I've got a lot of notes. Because I tend to get off track on the direction I want to go to. So I'm going to spend a lot of time reading my notes. Black Sheep is in chat with you. He's going to chime in if I need to stop for a minute, or he's got something, an important question or whichever. But I have a lot of notes I really need to go through. I spend a lot of time. I'm trying to refine this. I'll get used to not having to read the notes as time progresses, but as these things happen, we're going to, and I think this is an important topic to make sure that my points are very, very clear. We keep acting like we're blindsided by a predictable outcome, a predictable thing. It's ridiculous. We keep knee-jerk reacting. We're always reacting. We're not acting. We're just reacting. And the answer is always anger, yelling, screaming. Every time the U.S. Sorry, I had just checked my note here. Every time the U.S. changes their trade policy, the media, everybody goes up in arms like it's a war. This isn't a war. This is business. Hell, we elected a prime minister because he's a business-focused prime minister. Why can't we understand that? Why is that not the narrative? Why is that not the approach? Every time it's like the axe swings and we flinch like we weren't standing next to the tree it was intended to hit. Like, it's so dumb. We're just playing victims and we keep letting the media create this emotional tie to such an insignificant detail. Instead of looking for a solution, they want to create outrage, rage, anger, hostility. I got no hostility towards America. America's doing what America needs to do for America. Isn't that what we want here in Canada? For Canada to do what it needs to do for Canadians? Isn't that the whole idea behind Canada first, Canada strong? What are we doing here? My brain's not processing exactly what is the goal here when we listen to the media and it's not just the left-wing media. The right wing is just as bad. We're all freaking out. It's absolutely ridiculous. Back to the notes. The reality is, we're both playing their game. We're all playing their game. The only difference is we don't have a playbook. We're not victims. We're unprepared. We react with policies instead of out of strategy. If trade policy was a board game, Canadians would be playing hungry hippos, while the US was playing Risk. This is where our mindset is. We are so juvenile in our reaction to this. We're juvenile to the point that we're being manipulated to be even more juvenile. I thought we were adults here. When do we start using the adult side of our brains? When do we stop letting the media tell us how childish we are? How childish we need to be? This is ridiculous. We live in a real world, okay? The children need to stop ruling the roost here. Adults need to take control so that we don't lose control. This is ridiculous. I have a better idea. Oh. Good Lord. Screw this battery. Let's get another one. Katie, you got a spare battery for me? No. Where's the spare battery? That's better. So unlike Canada, I'm not going to take this raw resource, chuck it away and demand, I want a painting. No. I'm not going to cry about how much I have to pay to go buy a painting. I'm not going to get angry about how much America wants to charge a painting. What the hell for? That's the stupidest thing I ever heard of. It may be imperfect, but every time I do this, it'll get better. And it'll get better, and it'll get better. So let's make a painting. What do I want to paint? Nice beautiful mountain there. Little river going across the middle. I like that. Pick the right brush for the idea. Hey, you know, you guys that are members and supporters and such, I appreciate yous a lot because you help pay for all this stuff. And that's greatly appreciated. You help sustain me and keep me alive and just doing what I do. I see a whole bunch of chats there. Black Sheep, you got anything to tell me?
Brett said, America's falling. Wise to distance ourselves from them.
Where should I put the crack? Or just paint around it and deal with it? I'm thinking sideways, represent the river. I think I like that idea. Yeah, let's do that. Oh. Was that all you had to say? Black Sheep?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he also said, he says, that sounds like a loaded question, at where to put the crack.
Yeah, I should really think my wording through, especially here in Canada. Oh. Yeah. Canada is not a country without resources. Canada is a country without a plan. We don't protect our industries, we export them. Hold on, I gotta get my notes in a better position here. They don't need to invade us, they just need to outbid us, outproduce us, out hustle us. They're playing Monopoly, waiting for the participation ribbon. Just imagine being a wholesaler. This is exactly what the trade war is. Imagine a wholesaler turning to a client and complaining about how much the client or their customer, sorry, the wholesaler's customer, is charging their customers. This is the outrage. This is the entire outrage of the trade war. We are a wholesaler complaining about retail prices because the tariffs don't affect Canadian wholesale goods. Yes, it affects the amount we may sell to them in the future, but it doesn't affect our prices. We're still getting what we asked for. Trump throws tariffs on anything. It's their companies that got to pay it. We have contracts with them that they must buy a certain amount of goods. We're so dumb in how we're reacting to all this. A wholesaler complaining about retail prices for goods we're selling wholesale. Like, this is so stupid. Sorry, language. Sorry, YouTube. Every stroke of this brush, I'm creating something. I'm making something. I took a raw resource and now I'm making it into something. In Canada, that's the part we skip. Like I did in the beginning. I cut that log. Just like here in Canada, we cut down the forests here in Canada. We cut that log. We throw it over there. And then we complain we don't have a painting. So we go over there and we buy a painting. That's the part we skip. It's ridiculous. It's wrong. It's backwards. It's childish. It's immature. Now I'm going to say it. It's stupid. Canada's still acting like a colonial wholesaler. Here's our lumber, here's our copper, here's our oil. Please be nice when you mark it up. Meanwhile, in the US refines, brands, sells it back to us. We don't protect our industries at all. It's actually ridiculous. We sell raw resources. We are a wholesaler for the world. And the US is our #1 buyer. Our #1 customer. And we're complaining about the prices the US wants to charge their customers for raw resources we sold them, like that they've refined. If we're a wholesaler and we're worried about the prices, the retail prices, then why don't we just open a storefront and become a retailer? Then we actually have a legitimate footing to stand on, a legitimate argument to be had. But right now, we're just being angry so that we don't see our prime minister's conflicts of interest. I don't know. It's really confusing to me. It makes no sense that we are freaking about this. Maybe it's so that the president doesn't have to deal with backtracking on a campaign promise. That's as far as I'm going to go on that one. And I'm pretty sure people understand what I'm talking about if they watch a lot of videos or have a lot of lists. We're going to leave that one alone. Because I don't talk on American issues. Not my department. I'm a Canadian. And I think we have enough problems in this land. We don't need to worry about what's going on over there. Let's solve these problems before we start worrying about what's happening over there. But I get it. There are people that actually talk on these issues, and are, there is, and it's their platform. My platform is about Canada. Always has been, always will be. That's who I am. Canada first, baby. No. That's a political slogan. Windmore's Canada first. There we go. Because I'm not affiliated with any political party. I think I'm done with the blue here. That's enough sky for me.
Wanda in the chat said, have you heard that Carney has 103 conflicts of interest?
Just mentioned it. Yeah, that takes a lot more deep dive, and I didn't have time to be prepared for that conversation today. But yes, I have heard about it. I have thoughts on it, but I'm not sure how to approach it at the moment. If that makes sense. I wouldn't say I'm outraged. I would say there are major red flags in my mind. Because, well, I don't really get outraged. I don't believe outrage actually serves a purpose. I don't believe anger serves a purpose. I think it's detrimental to actually getting anywhere with anything. That leads right into my next notes here. I actually just looked up and just read it. Oh, man. So I'm going to use some... I'm going to use copper as the example because the latest, tariff thing on us, and because my notes were already written up for, well, my reasoning was already written up based on earlier in the week when Trump brought up about the copper thing, and it created a nice, I found a nice way to make it work. So I'm going to use copper in this example here. So the world got hit with this 35% tariff on copper. Is it 35% or is it 50%? Do you know, Black Sheep?
Let me look it up.
I think it's 35.
Looks like 50% tariff on copper imports
Okay.
will begin August 1st.
Yeah, this is what I mean. I got it kind of mixed up in my brain because it's 35% on everything from Canada plus whatever we do as retaliation. Okay, now I'm on board. So Canada got hit, or well, the world got hit with a 50% increase on copper, right? And while Canada's freaking out because of our copper industry now, as we sell 50% of our copper to the US. And well, it's been doing great for us. Fantastic. We've been doing really well with our copper industry, selling it to the US. We've been content at the prices we're selling to the US. And it's sustained, we've sustained it very well. And that's great. It's fantastic. Now, Trump's deciding that, you know, he's going to, sorry, I don't want to use his name. I really don't. I don't want to use any politician's name. The the president of the U.S. has decided that, you know, they want to spark their own copper industry in the U.S. What's wrong with that? So he decides he's going to put a 50% tariff on copper across the board for everybody. Anybody that doesn't have a trade deal with him. Okay. Well, we don't have a trade deal with him, so our copper industry and everybody in the media is freaking out, and they're all spazzing out and having a heart attack over it. We're just we've got two choices. We can react with rage, or we can react with strategy. The media, the government, and everybody you talk to prefers the latter, or the rage aspect of it. They think this is the answer. We need to react with rage. Retaliatory tariffs. Retaliatory. We need to retaliate. We need to Canada first, buy Canada first. Blah, blah, blah. But there's no strategy there. That's just outrage and emotions that are detrimental to your goals. You're feeding the bad policy ideas by doing this. Canada needs a strategy to deal with something we're not dealing with. It's a modern world. Everything's progressed around us, yet we stayed a resource nation, which is nothing wrong with being a resource nation. But the Congo's a resource nation. How enriched are their citizens? A lot of the nations where resources are sold raw are some of the poorest nations in the world. The richest nations of the world are where they produce end goods. Now, Canada's in a financial crisis right now. Our economy is falling apart. And it's becoming almost untenable. So, the U.S. wants to spark their copper industry. And they want to get it booming because, well, in the modern world, that's necessary. It's, you know, you need copper for everything. Anything electronic requires copper these days. And so it's strategic for them to inspire their copper industry to expand. And that's the end goal of this, is to create more industry in the US for their needs. Which, okay, that's fine. But just like here in Canada, what I'm going to propose, they're not quite ready for yet. They need more mines. There's actually an article. I saw it, was it last week? Might have been the week before. But there was an article about, you know, China and the U.S. is buying up critical minerals and da-da-da-da-da. But in the article, it mentioned that the U.S. is actually falling behind on its copper needs. So it has a shortfall for what it needs in copper, and China is leading the way here, and outpacing the U.S. in copper needs. Okay, so now all of a sudden, the president decides, oh well, you know, we're going to charge the world extra to sell us copper to spark internal. Sorry, I just need to catch an angle here and just get a good idea of what I'm looking at here. Internal industry to start expanding. Which, smart move, you know. You don't want it to be dependent on the rest of the world. For a strategic resource you require for your own needs and your own future. So the way to do that is to spark the industry into action, open the door for them, and allow them, incentivize them to do what they need to do. Well, here in Canada, we're doing it backwards. We have an industry that's already got deals for raw resources to ship out, and now that that deal is now in jeopardy, technically putting those industries in jeopardy. And so our answer to it is, well, we're going to build the greatest economy in the world. We're going to invest in Canada. But nowhere along the way did we decide we're actually going to progress, or any ideas on how we're going to progress. We just keep coming up with these talking points. These tariffs don't raise our costs. We pull the copper from the ground. It's right there. It's literally right here. There's your copper. What tariff is there? There's no tariff there. Okay? The tariff is way over there after we've gotten rid of it. We pull it out of this ground, we ship it over there, and they do them. And now we're acting all outraged because they're trying to inspire their manufacturers and everything to utilize or become less dependent on outside sources for critical minerals and critical resources. It's smart. But Canada's not acting smart. We're outraged because we can't sell our dirt to them. We're outraged because we can't sell our oil. We can't sell our lumber. We keep getting outraged over stupidity. We want to stay the child in an ever grown up world instead of growing up and becoming a player in the game that's actually being played. Instead of sitting there, well, the president and the rest of the world are playing monopoly, you know, strategically buying up land and charging and everything. We're sitting there hoping we get past go so we can collect $200. This is stupid. Where's our strategy in that? We're dooming ourselves to fail instead of thinking ahead. Sorry, I got way off my talking points on that. Just kind of went off on a rant here. So going back to sorry, go ahead.
Well, I really like your analogy there. That we're basically, we're still living in our parents' basement right now as Canada. The U.S. are the father and mother, and we're just the children.
Well, it's true. This whole reactionary action we've been doing is exactly that. It's what I expected my kids to be doing when they were 6 or 7 years old. Well, I didn't cut the lawn, but you still need to give me my allowance. It's like, oh, no. I cut the lawn, but I didn't cut around the rose bushes. Why did you dock me? Because I had to go do it. We're so childish. Stop being angry. Start thinking. Start being strategic. Start planning. Start acting. Start doing. This is Canada's future. Or we're doomed. We're going to just completely screw ourselves in the future. Being reliant. We've been reliant on the U.S. for everything. Our military, our goods, our technology, our medical and our pharmaceutical, everything Canada relies on, we rely on the U.S. for. And, we've been a great partner because we've been their dirt pile for them. They've needed our dirt pile. Now they've realized that, well, maybe we can do it on our own, or maybe we need different types of dirt. Maybe we need to dig our own dirt instead of relying on the northern dirt. Okay, but we still have a dirt pile. Don't cry about not being able to get rid of that dirt pile if you're not doing anything with that dirt pile. All right, back to my notes. Sorry, I'm off on a tangent here. I'm going to read this verbatim because I need to get back into focus on what I'm actually supposed to be talking about. So I may touch on some points I've already hit. They tariff our copper? Fine. Melt it down, turn it into wiring, turn it into plumbing, turn it into motors. Sell that instead. We're complaining about them tariffing our copper. I'm using copper just because, like I said, I wrote this up earlier in the week. We're crying about them tariffing our copper. That copper is the cheapest product in a final good. That is the cheapest, lowest end priced goods. So you say we're going to lose billions of dollars in our copper industry. You know what? You're right, we will. But you know where there's even more billions of dollars? Selling copper wiring, selling copper tubing. You could take that same dirt that you're crying that you're going to lose billions of dollars with, or sorry, I'm just going to throw random numbers out here. That dirt that you're crying that we're going to lose $1 billion on. Well, you could take that dirt, transform it, and sell it for $10 billion. Why are we crying about 1 billion? We should be crying about the fact that we're actually selling that dirt instead of using that dirt to make something more. They want to tariff our goods? Let them. Have at it. Tariff away. But as they tariff, stop selling them the low-end goods to tariff. Start selling them the high-end goods to tariff. We get more return on investment. They get to charge a higher tariff, so they're even happier. But it doesn't affect us because it's their consumer that pays it. And as we create these new end term items, we attract attention of other customers. Customers that don't make their own wiring, that need wiring, that are buying wiring from places they don't want to buy wiring from. You know, China comes to mind. You know, I'm not saying sell to China. I'm saying people are buying from China because they can't get cheap wire or value priced wire anywhere else. What's stopping us from creating that, becoming part of the competition? This goes back to what I said. We're wholesalers complaining about retail prices. Well, then become a freaking retailer and stop complaining. Stop letting the media tell you that you need to be mad that we are a wholesaler and the retail price is more than we're getting for our wholesale. This is such an illogical conversation. This whole idea is completely off the rails and only designed to keep you outraged and not looking at the real pictures. That's all it is. So stop playing the game. If they want to play Risk, set up a 4D chessboard. Stop playing. And I'm talking about the media, I'm talking about tariffs, I'm talking about the world. Canada needs to stop being a child. This is not hungry hippos. We're in a real world here, people. Time to grow up. Time to have adult solutions to adult problems. This is getting ridiculous now. The children have been running the roost way long enough. It's time for the adults to get back in the room. It's time for the children to go to bed and us to fix the nonsense, clean up the house, just like we always did around home. Okay? Children go to bed, we start cleaning up the house. Canada needs the kids to go to bed. Sorry, tangent again. My bad. All right.
Ray said we shouldn't put all our eggs in one basket.
No, it's stupid to. It's strategically illogical. Oh, sorry. I threw my ending out too early. I'm just realizing it now. We keep saying invest in Canada. Our Prime Minister is all about, you know, we're going to invest in Canada and we're going to create the greatest economy in Canada, and we're going to, we're doing this, and this is the strategic, this is what we're going to do, and, you know, we're going to build the best economy in Canada, and, well, he's even transitioned to that, the greenest economy in Canada. What kind of investments are we putting in Canada? Are we investing in speech writers, talking points, study groups? You know, we keep asking to build a pipeline across Canada, and you look at all the pushback that we get for it. For what? So they can do another study group? We're not in school here, people. The world didn't stop and wait for us to look at the problem anymore. Excuse me, I need a drink. Sorry. The world's not stopping and waiting for us to look at the problem. The longer we spend looking at the dirt going, what should we do about the dirt? The more those clouds are going by, the more irrelevant that dirt becomes. Until you do something with that dirt, it's just dirt. The world don't need more dirt. It needs something made from that dirt. And that's where Canada keeps losing its mind. So you want to invest in Canada? Fine, great. Invest in infrastructure? Great. I tell you what's a fantastic infrastructure project right now that we could produce, that we could do immediately, that would solve one of the tariff problems that we're screaming and raging and crying about. Steel. How many of you can go to your toolbox, pull out a hammer, and read on it anywhere, made in Canada? Where's your hammer made? We crying about steel. Where's that hammer made? You went and bought a hammer because you needed a hammer. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying don't go buy a hammer. Buy the hammer that works for you. That's the important part. I use Ryobi. It's not the best on the market, but it works for me. As you can see, I struggle a little bit at cutting trees, but it works for me. I'm not in a hurry. But we buy a lot of hammers, some couple of nails in, and next thing you know, the head's falling off it. And we're bitching and complaining that the head fell off of it. Then we run down to the store and we buy a hammer made by the same freaking country. What? We approach everything the wrong way. And as you're going down to the store to buy that new hammer, you're complaining that our steel industry is getting tariffed. The U.S. wants to charge their consumers more for our steel that we're selling to them. Nothing's changed for us. Not a damn thing has changed for us, other than, yeah, we may get some slowdown in the steel industries as contracts run out. But we have that leeway as those contracts run out to start creating hammer factories. Invest in infrastructure. Now we've just become a competitor for hammers around the world. Every single person owns a hammer. We're crying about tariffs on our steel. every single person in the world needs a hammer. And hammer is just one item. Go look at your household toolbox. How many items are in there? What are they made of? We sell all the resources to make those items, but we don't make any of them. Open your cupboard doors. What's in those cupboards? Every single household has. We sell the resources to make everything there, but we don't make any of it. We're being dumb about this. At what point does Canada become a 21st century nation instead of being a 19th century nation? We're not in the 1800s anymore, people. As much as I love being natural and pulling natural or living what appears to be a traditional life, I appreciate every piece of my technology. My kitty. I don't ride a horse, I ride kitty. I ain't talking to you on a flashbulb camera. No, it's an S24 Ultra. It's pretty state-of-the-art camera. Well, phone. Canada, stop complaining about the price of bread, about how much America wants to charge for the price of bread, because they decide to tariff our wheat. We need to start producing bread that Americans want to buy, and they can tariff it all they want. I don't give a damn. Do what you want with it. Who am I to tell my customer what they should do with the resource I sell them? Once they buy it, it's theirs. Who the hell am I to tell them what to do with it? Well, tariff it, it's irrelevant to me. I really don't care. I got my, I sold it for the price I wanted, I needed. We're just being dumb about this. Holy mac.
We're 53 minutes in, just so you know.
Yep. Back to our politicians. You want to invest in Canada? Fine. Like I said, does that mean investing in more bureaucracy? Does that mean investing in more study groups? Because if that is, then, well, Canada's doomed. But if you want to invest in Canada, you don't build a better economy by writing about it. You build it by building better things. You need to stop selling dirt. Sell what dirt makes. We're not dirt farmers anymore. It's 2025. It's time we look up and we realize we need stuff there. We need stuff there. We need that computer. The world needs those computers. The world needs those phones. Hell, the world needs this paint. This paint is made from dirt. But we're selling the dirt so someone else can make the paint. And then complaining when they decide they want to charge more for their paint. What are we doing here? Stop letting the media tell you you're supposed to be outraged over this. Start thinking for yourself. Start being strategic. This is just... Let's take a look at what we got in chat here, because I have not really read chat at all. Oh, and my final point was that I actually accidentally said, but was, if they want to play Risk, fine. Let them go play their Risk. We're setting up a 4D chessboard here. Who wants to play? That's all I got to say. Let's go to chat here. What do you got here there, Blashy, for me?
Brent said there's a bit of a moral responsibility. Like, let's say if someone sells firearms, you don't knowingly sell a firearm to a customer if you suspect they're going to commit a crime.
Totally lost on the relevance of that conversation, but okay.
To me, with the, like, you know, we were having, you know, where
I'm really not interested in even having a conversation about firearms, but
no, I'm not even,
because of the channel algorithm, this is a bad conversation to have. Brett, please be respectful. I really don't want to have this type of conversation. It's not a conversation I want any part of. I never discussed them. Please understand where I'm coming from on this. It's not a conversation that I have on this channel. You know that. I'm not saying it's not a valid conversation. I'm saying it's not a conversation I have on this channel. Anyway, carry on. Let's go to something else. Was there anything else throughout all my rantings?
you mentioned they have like manufactured production plants in Washington State, towards the Alberta and BC border, and they take electricity from BC and natural gas from Alberta to manufacture their things.
Wanda, I tried to, I actually meant to get into that bingo the other night, but I've been so overwhelmed with projects trying to fix my algorithm problems on this channel and trying to get this channel to regain its footing and its traction and trying to build it back up to where it once was, that I really haven't had time to even do anything lately. I've been doing a lot of writing scripts out for myself and compiling ideas and comparing notes with things and trying to come up with better ideas. Yeah, it's I don't even want to even mention them, Brett. Anyway, yeah, I meant to come to that bingo and totally forgot it. But I appreciate the effort you went through to try and help me. I greatly appreciate that. That means a lot to me. I think that's wonderful. Thanks. Cheers to you.
So what I was going to say earlier was, yeah, I heard about the, let's say, so the only computer chips
I got
that
it
are
for you.
made in the world are made in Taiwan. And I was thinking, well, like, why can't Canada be the next person who makes that? But it looks like we lost that to the U.S. because, of our incompetent leaders. I wouldn't, like they should have been, like, running to them saying, look, we have all the resources and we have all this land that we could have built it here.
Yeah. Like, I mean, data centers require cooling. We have natural cooling. Yep. The US is building them in the US, but we have natural cooling further north. I need to address this. Brett, maybe you're not realizing what I'm saying here. That entire conversation, that word is toxic to a channel's algorithm on YouTube. To even have that conversation is detrimental to my channel. You can make your point, use a different product. That product is very, very detrimental to my channel's growth. That's what I'm trying to say to you. I'm not trying to even have the conversation with you about the particulars of what you're trying to bring up. I'm not saying your point is wrong. It's the conversation can't happen without harm to my channel. I'm trying to grow this. I'm trying to rebuild this channel. I'm trying to make it into something people come to, and I want something that YouTube wants to push out to give an alternative to the BS, the anger farm, the narrative. It doesn't matter. It's not about whether I understand what you're talking about. It's the topic is toxic for my channel. I can't even discuss it. It's not an option. You're asking me to partake in a conversation that is toxic to it. It's not just Canada. This is a YouTube thing. All right, have a good day. I'm sorry you feel that way, but whatever. I'm trying to do something better here than I'm not trying to harm my channel just so that I can have a conversation about a particular item. No, I think it's more important that we actually create a better mindset for the entire country. And the only way I can do that on a large enough scale is to slowly skirt my way through the necessary angles. I have to. It's not about trying to, be silenced or anything like that, because I'm really not silenced. It's just, you need to navigate. Perfect example. I'm not going to drive Kitty off that cliff because I want to go to that river. No, I'm going to go find a path that actually will take Kitty to that river. Just because I can go that way does not mean it's going to be good for me or Kitty. I'm better off going to take that path over there. That's what this is about. You're telling me I don't understand how to drive off that cliff? I'm very well aware how to drive off that cliff. But frankly, I'd like to be here next Saturday for this live stream. So I'll take that path over there. So maybe next Saturday, I have more viewership and more people wanting to learn how to make Canada better for Canadians. That's the goal. Stay focused on the goal. Never mind the nuances. The nuances will get you in trouble going off that cliff. And then what do I do once I'm off the cliff? I'm stuck down there. There's no coming back from there. Just saying, man. It's not about the conversation. It's about the topic. Not good for my channel. Yeah. Too true, too true, too true. Anyway, I got a lot of work to do here. We've been going at this for an hour. I'm going to wrap things up here. I think Clubby's had enough time staring at the view. Hey, bud. So I thank you for joining me today. I hope I made you think. I hope I sparked innovation. I hope it creates ideas. I hope it stops the rage. I hope it makes you identify the rage farm. I hope it makes Canada better. Welcome to the Fringe.
Show it to the camera. And
Huh?
the next thing is remind the viewers that there's an important video about Kitty on Thursday.
Oh shoot! Good catch. Good catch. Yeah, I'm gonna be here probably all afternoon. I'll show this when it's completed. Because yeah, right now it's just a blue blot with some green on it. I have a lot of work to do on that. It's very basic right now. I just figure, you know, it'll be something I could do while I'm talking on camera. Keep my mind focused. Give my hands something to do. Give you something to look at while you process what I'm saying. But I tell you what, I will make a video. I'll make a community post and show you the painting when I'm done. Does that sound fair?
Yep.
All right. And as Black Sheep just reminded me, there's a very, very important video coming on Thursday regarding our old girl here. The one that brought us across this country. The one that showed you all these views that I've shown you for the last year. Kitty. It's a very important conversation. And that video comes out on Thursday. Appreciate it if you watch it. Understand if you don't. But hey, I gotta make a shout out about it. And I figure this is it. So, till next Saturday, 10 a.m. Pacific, from a new location, welcome to the Fringe. And Black Sheep, thanks for joining me. Thanks for helping. And to all the viewers, thanks for being here.